Right. Um, Good afternoon, morning, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this. So here is the revision video for our subject, computer 3D modeling and 3D modeling 1. Um, it's good that if you could get a pen and paper and note down the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. So first things first, we're going to talk about chapter 1. Now what's going to come up in chapter 1? Let's have a look, shall we? Right. Okay, I would say a lot of these things we've covered it in the mid-semester exam, and therefore I won't be asking too much about this. Let's see now. Yeah, well, no, not all this. This one has been covered. History of early 3D computer graphics. What should you focus on? Because it's quite a lot to remember, isn't it? Well, I would say it's that one there. This one here. This slide is what you need to look at in terms when it comes to history of early 3D computer graphics. So focus more on this one. Am I going to ask about Blinn? Maybe. Am I going to talk about the Bell Labs? Maybe. Am I going to ask about Tron? Perhaps as well. Alright, what else? Let's see now. Yeah, so not much about all that. So history is just only that one particular slide. Yeah. Fundamentals of a digital model. I want you to pay close attention to this one. So when I say what are the three types, you're able to list it down. You're able to also explain what they are when I ask you such a question. And each one of them, they have their own advantages, and you need to know why they're useful. So I guess from here onwards, fundamentals of a digital model, right down to what they are. You should be able to explain it. How is it useful? Why is it useful? Why is it popular? For instance, subdivision surfaces. Why are they popular? Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the fundamentals. And then we go into vertex maps. Alright, so there's 5 common types of vertex maps as shown here in the slides. Which one you need to focus on? Well, basically all. Right, because I'll be asking about vertex maps. Like what are texture maps, for instance. How are morph maps useful? And so on. It can be any number of questions, but basically it's all about vertex maps. So that's going to come out as well. Alright, and that's pretty much it for chapter 1. So let's just close that one. I'm going to look at chapter 2 now. Right, chapter 2 is about computer modeling methods. Right, and this is quite a lengthy chapter as well. Let me just really see like which ones. Alright, so that's let's see. This is just all introduction, but yeah, although right here introduction. Okay, so build out method. You need to pay close attention to this one here. What it means by build out, well, just as the name implies, it's basically building out that vertex, that edges, those polygons bit by bit. So you need to know, for instance, what are the 2 primary techniques that fall under build out method, and why you want to do it. For instance, you want it's used by artists because they need to do retopology. What is retopology? So everything that falls under build out method is what you need to focus on. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Build up method is what you need to focus on. And a lot of you, I don't know about you, but I assume we've been doing these things in the lab, whether it's build up method or you use primitive modeling or box modeling, right? You just need to pay close attention to this chapter as well, because it's going to come up in section C. Yeah, the essay questions. All right. What else do you need to focus on? So you've been doing a lot of box modeling, yeah. And here are some pictures of what box modeling can be useful for. So, what I want you to kind of just go through it. Of course, you need to focus on build-up method, but just go through all the other methods, and you should be able to differentiate between one and the next. Means that if I ask, say for instance, this method here, texture displacement, like what is it useful for? And you can see exactly that if you want to model realistic landscapes or ocean waves or terrains, texture displacement is quite useful for that. So I just want, I want you to differentiate between one method and the other, and what kind of things you can model using that particular method. Yeah. Let me just see if I forget something else. Oh yeah, you need to pay close attention to, from here onwards, digital sculpting method, and this is stuff that you'll be doing in modeling too if you're a VM student and you plan to take modeling too. So pay close attention to the digital sculpting method. What is it? How is it useful? Where do you see it being used, in which industry now? And also, since we didn't do any 3D scanning in the subject, pay close attention to this one as well. What is the 3D scanning method? How many types of scanners are there? Like which one is more popular, and why is it more popular, but what are the disadvantages of that particular method? So that's what you need to focus on as well. Right, and I think I've covered pretty much with chapter 2 there. So let's just close that one. Let's go on to chapter 3 now. Now for chapter 3, what you need to focus on is chapter 3 is basically preparation for modeling. And it's a lot of advice and tips on how to get your work much better. What do you need to focus on? And this is quite subjective, since you've done all those lab assignments and that final project, which is something like this. You should kind of know it by heart already. Like, say you try to understand something, you can ask this kind of questions. Like, for instance, some of you model a Game Boy, and you might start to ask questions like, okay, does the Game Boy have cracks or fissures, or has the object been damaged, or is it still in pristine condition and all that? So this kind of questions, I'm giving you some suggestions of what you can ask, but you can come up with your own as well. But if you don't know what questions, and these are all the questions that we can use when it comes to fully understanding your model before modeling it. Yeah. So focus on this particular slide. What else? And we're gonna talk about this part here, gathering reference material. Alright, so you should know not so much about memorizing all this, but I want you to kind of go through this, all of this here, and the explanation in each one of this, and you should be able to explain clearly why you would use a particular technique in gathering reference material. Why does it benefit you in your work? How, for instance, using digital reference can be useful. Why does it benefit you? Yeah. And then we go into things that you should avoid, references to avoid, and please pay close attention to this one from here onwards to the end. Okay, not this one won't come in, so that's pretty much it. References to avoid, pay close attention to that as well. And that's pretty much it. Let's see how much time. It's already close to 11 minutes, so I think I'll just stop this video here and we'll continue in the next one. See you.